Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, and welcome to Chronicles, the City of Martyrs, Chapter 2. And we begin our scene at the more luxurious side of London, the more dominant, the more powerful corporation that is Canary Wharf, listed with its many large buildings, banks, power, and money. We zoom into a particular building that observes this grand view of power. A building that houses many of the rich, the elite, the grand members of London society. And in this building, we go towards past the lobby, past the many luxurious pavement, marble steps, royal cotton sort of carpets, towards an elevator where a humble kindred who's just been performing his duties to enforce the masquerade, to ensure the safety of his kind in the city. And after many days of hard work, is enjoying the light atmosphere in the elevator as a humble servant is asking for which button to press. Which floor does he live?
Zooming into James, he looks as tired as a kindred can look. Almost a little beaten up. Hair a bit of a mess. Seems like he needs some more sleep during the day, maybe. As it says to the man, Bertram, the elevator man. Top floor, penthouse, please.
Oh, of course, sir. And he presses the button, and he recognizes you. He knows you. You've never seen him before, but he knows. He's heard of your name, membership, your rating in the establishment. He's paused and he's kind of smiling, somewhat happy. There's a few awkward glances with you, as if he knows something.
James opened up his mouth to strike up a conversation as he's been looking, staring at the name tag, thinking to himself, what kind of name is fucking Bertram anyway? But these British people and their funny names. He strikes up a conversation. So Bertram, do you have any children?
Yes, one son.
One son. How old is he?
Yeah, as you just say, that he goes, "Oh, we're quite new. So he's only 6 months."
6 months. All right. Yeah. I'm kind of dealing with let's say a teenager right now, trying to throw tantrums everywhere and breaking stuff. You have a lot of good years before they become that age.
Oh, that's not my place to say, but our little boy's quite an angel. He's very quiet. I've been told.
Oh, all right.
I've not much time to spend with him, but your child. Did you say Cassandra?
Yeah, her name is Cassandra.
Oh, she's the one living with you upstairs, yes?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And he kind of pauses and goes very stiff for a second, as if there's something he's realised something and he's gone very sort of proper.
Do you have anything to add to that, Bertram? Or we're in an elevator. This freaking elevator music won't stop playing. So let's talk to me.
Oh, nothing, sir. Just you have a very interesting daughter, sir.
I hope she haven't caused you any problems.
Of course not, sir. There is no problems that we can't handle here at the. He names the building.
Yeah.
We can handle all sorts of problems or issues there. At this point, of course, the elevator does stop. The doors kind of open. He just sort of tips his head and just says, "Any problem, sir? Please call the house."
Of course, and if she strikes up too much of a rouse and temper, the people downstairs know my number.
Of course, sir. And there's kind of a, as the doors close, there's a kind of a smile or a snigger almost. And as the doors close, you're on the penthouse. There are no other apartments. This is a whole top level floor. This is how high invested you are at the moment. But as there's a long corridor again with many of these paintings, artwork, potted plants that leads towards this door, and you instantly feel it. You instantly recognize it. It was on the tip of your tongue, your thoughts, your hearing earlier, but then the doors, as they opened and as you walk past, you hear loud music coming from your apartment. And not just loud music, you hear people, lots of people, lots of individuals, at least. It's too messy, too loud to kind of gauge a correct response, but you just feel at least 50 to 40 individuals. And the part, some of them upstairs, some of them downstairs, some of them on the balcony, some of them outside. The music gets louder and is blowing more and more. And it seems that there is a party going on in your residence, your flat, penthouse.
He just goes in, just opens the door. And at this point, he would, I guess, know how many of these people are actually mortals.
It's still hard to gauge because, again, it's a couple of people you could figure out easily, but there's so much noise. And of course, actually, your beast gets somewhat excited, as it always does when surrounded by this much blood, this much life, this much sustenance. It kind of, you know how to control it, you know how to suppress it. But definitely, this is a very loud, very noisy party. And as you open the door and look, the place is a mess. You see lights dangling, like Christmas lights dangling from the chandelier. You see the chairs have been tipped over. You see a table that's been smashed. You see the TVs collapsed. You see a DJ. Someone has set up their own kind of DJ booth into the corner of the room and a sound system, and people are dancing and jumping up and down. People wearing costumes and outfits. You see one woman walking around naked. You see the smell of intoxication, drugs, narcotics flowing freely. And even outside, you have an outdoor pool area. You see people jumping naked into the pool and out of the pool and laughing and joking. And you see individuals who are dressed in scantily dressed outfits. Other individuals are just naked while wearing bunny hats or helmets, and they seem to be just running around. Even an individual walks past you and looks to you and hands you a few shots, going, "You got to take a shot when you come in here, dude. That's the rule."
He looks at him, takes out one of this old beat up 1-pence coins he has on his person, and just flips it. All right, it says. He looks at man and says, "Get the fuck out."
What? What are you on about, man? Come on, this is a party. Enjoy yourself.
He just pushes through and goes up to the DJ booth.
Yeah, there's this very cool, very hip looking individual playing quite a few tracks. He's got his laptop and a few other things plugged in, and it's somewhat impressive. He's got professional speakers, professional gear. It's all been set up very well. There's even some strobe lights and there's even a fog machine. Actually, it's not been turned on yet, but there's a freaking fog machine in there. But you go up to him and he's like, "Hey, dude, no, you gotta get down."
I pull up my gun and put 2 bullets in the computer.
Okay. The room goes silent after that, and actually, some people just keep partying and they think it's all part of the show.
And I activate Majesty and I say, "Everyone, get the fuck out! Party's over."
Yes, for role play sake, let's just say that works. And the DJ guy just responds like, "Dude, you fucking, what are you doing? You crazy son of a bitch."
I punch him in the mouth,
and then he goes down. He actually may have done some damage there, but yeah, he flops to the floor. And as you cry that out, like everyone get the fuck out. And you activate your majesty. Everyone instantly looks to you, and they, even though you've just fired your gun, that they're not afraid, but they're just sort of, okay, yeah, well, yeah, we should go. Let's get another party starting, man. You're so cool though. We respect you, man. Authority. That's what we need now. Yeah. Let's set upside downstairs. Let's go downstairs. Let's go to the lobby, and they all kind of cheer and start to sort of move out. There's still some people lingering as the main group kind of move. People picking themselves up. Other people passed out. They can't move. Other individuals who are too busy with of the opposite sex, maybe even the same sex actually, to give you notice or to care, as they're sort of in the kitchen area. You can still sense people around you.
Yeah.
In the place. But the main kind of group have kind of left because of your majesty, your ability.
I'm just pinging in on the one fucking kindred inside this place, and I was going straight towards her, as I know it would be Cassandra.
As you kind of maneuver, you can sense her. You know where she is. She's upstairs in your bedroom. And as you move towards her, you can see another individual, your ghoul, who is quietly looking at you as you go towards the stairs. And as she looks to you, she kind of gives you this shake of the head and this kind of disapproving look at what's going on, but then points upstairs. And then she just walks to the balcony, walks to the outside towards the pool.
Yeah. He nods and says, "Thank you, Beth. I'll be right out."
And then you proceed. And as you proceed up the stairs towards your room, you're hearing all kinds of noises, all kinds of sounds. And I'm assuming you're going to kick the door open. Or
no, he's just gonna slowly open the door. Just stand take a few steps in and just stand there and look for a moment.
And as you look and as you walk in, you just see this like orgy happening. You see like 4 to 6 individuals all piled on this bed, your bed. And as they're all piled and groaning and feeling and touching, the main creature in this bed is, of course, your daughter, Cassandra. And she's not even aware of you because she's just enjoying, you can see her nibbling and biting on these various individuals. And each time she does so, the individual just cries out in absolute ecstasy and pleasure. And she just seems to be, and actually, I would say there's the beast, not like a challenge of the beast, but there's a seductive beast happening right now. And it's even enveloping you, but I'll simply say you're strong enough to resist it. But
it's my haven after all.
It is your haven, and there's all kinds of, you've got more blood, but there's still that part of you that wants to just jump in. There's always that part of you that just wants to indulge themselves, but you are refrained, you are controlled of that. Unlike this individual who seems to be indulging herself. And this is a scene you have before
you. He's just standing there for a moment, like thinking over what it's gonna do. And I'm actually, as a keen-eyed investigator as he is, with like everything going on, he's gonna stand there for a moment and like try to get which one of these meat puppets is her favorite.
Oh, yes. As you look, and yes, it's a very young male individual. She seems to be the one. Let's simply say the one that is on top of her, the one that seems to be pleasuring her the most, while the others are sort of writhing beside her, near her. It's quite a young male individual. Must just more older than 17 at the most. Quite lanky looking, but very toned. And he has 1 or 2 tattoos. He seems the young, rebellious sort of hipster sort, at least. And he seems to be the one most engaging with her, the one that's more absorbed by her, or has her most attention. Though her attention is quite fleeting, it does change from person to person.
He's gonna go up to the bed, pick him up by his neck, and just hover, him like a good feet off the ground.
Yeah, as you do that, she kind of snaps out of what's happening, and the rest of them don't. They're still absorbed by the majesty of what's going on. And actually, one or two of them laugh as you do this, like, "Wow, look what he's doing! That's so cool! Wow, you're an actor. I'll come in, join in." They're not quite aware of the seriousness of the situation, but she is. She looks and goes, "Oh, I see you've come home finally."
And he goes to the ear of this man and goes like, "Young man, what's your name?"
He's like, again, as you grasping him, and he's just like going, "Oh, it's just Simon. Simon, I call myself Rude Master, but it's Simon. Simon, just call me Simon. What are you doing? Just put me down."
Cassandra, is Simon here your favorite?
She looks to you and goes, "And what of it?"
ST. At 2 humanity, would it be fine for me to just snap this guy some neck right now?
Oh, actually, it's impassioned. Not impassioned. It's a passioned violence or passioned killing.
But I have failed for that once before, so I'm immune to that.
No. This is all about what humanity level you're on. Sorry, good point. Give me a moment. 1 second. I'm just looking at it now. Humanity. Because this is a big thing. It's still, even if it is, it's still just a simple roll that you can pass later. Oh, damn it. Curses. Here we go. Right. Right. Humanity. Humanity 2. So 1 year of active code. Premeditated killing. So impassioned killing is humanity 3. So this is impassioned killing, so you're fine.
Yeah, I snap his neck.
So you're like, fuck it. And as you do, he's just like, "Hey dude, look, I didn't mean to screw your diet." Just one hand. You use your blood, use your vigor to just snap this individual. But because of the majesty, the people in the room, they're not afraid. They think it's an act. They think it's some kinky sex thing, some sort of theatre thing. They don't quite take it as seriously as normal people would in this situation.
Yeah, and I just
see her react. You see her react.
Yeah, I put him on her, like right on top on her. Like if he was doing the missionary, that kind of position, he says to her in her ear, "I'll meet you downstairs by the balcony. You have 2 minutes, then I'll grab another one."
Fuck. Okay, I think due to the whole that you've done that, and that is quite hard. That is quite serious. You can see her like, do what you have to do. I don't care. But as soon as you do that, as soon as you snap and then just throw or leave him aside her, she flinches. She has that reaction, that still human reaction that she did care. And she's really surprised that you did that. Very surprised and very shocked at what you've just done. And as you whisper that in her ear, she just sort of, "Right, I'm bored of you all now. Go, leave." They all kind of make their excuses. "Oh no, come on, we was getting so good. Come on, do that thing to me again." And then she just sort of, as you leave or as you kind of exit the room, you can hear her crying out, "Get the fuck out of my room, you fucking bunch of parasitic shits!" And but they still are happy. They don't take it. They're not offended. They seem charmed. They still think it's a joke. And they'll say, "Oh, look, we'll see you later when you calm down. I can't wait for the next party. It's going to be great." And
as she says, "Leave my room," James pipes up again and says, "It's my fucking room."
"Well, you better burn the fucking sheets then." She cries out, "Now go. I'm getting dressed." I have to
And
be proper if I'm meeting my father.
he goes down to the balcony.
Yeah, so you leave, and as you leave, there's more people that are starting to get up or move away. One or two individuals like hug you or like pat you, go, "Dude, awesome party! That's the best party I've had in years."
He
It's all,
nods and says, "Now get the fuck out." You know.
yeah, they all just seem to just walk away. But it's because of your majesty earlier, they still think you're this awesome dude, even though you're. That's the horrible thing of majesty. You're telling people to fuck off, yet they still love you at the same time. It's strange, but yes. And you proceed, and she's getting herself ready, getting herself dressed, and you proceed to the balcony. Where's the? It's this wonderful, again, this wonderful view of the Canary Wharf, the banks, the many tall buildings that skirt outwards. And you walk to the balcony where there's this kind of a pool. Let's say it's one of those kind of what's they called? Millennial pools where the edge kind of rides off.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Yeah. I totally get what you're getting
You
at.
go, yeah, go. It's just one of those sort of pools, and it leads off the edge. It's lit up so wonderfully. The water looks so pure, so refreshing, and so light. Unfortunately, the water's somewhat saturated. There's a few. You're not sure whether it's alcohol, whether it's vomit. There's some substances in the pool at the moment. You're going to have to remind yourself to call the cleaner tomorrow. But as you go out, you see your other daughter, Ghoul. She seems to be leaning over the balcony, looking at these grand buildings, these grand structures. They're quite humble, as she always is, a very quiet individual.
So he goes up, and gives her a hug. And says, "Oh, Beth, how are you? Are you okay?"
Oh, she hugs you really closely and looks really deeply into your eyes. She doesn't kiss you or anything like that, but it's a very intimate kind of hug, and she smiles as if you're the best thing she's seen all day. And she looks and just goes, "Oh, you can't stay away for too long. This is what happens if you stay away from it for too long here."
No, I know, Beth. It's just my work. Drives me crazy sometimes. But I gotta do what I gotta do. Keeps the roof over our heads.
They don't deserve you. You should be able to do as you wish. You should be able to delegate what you wish to others.
We're working on it. We're working on it. In a year or two, all this is gonna blow over, and we will move on to greener pastures.
Certain individuals told me that you might run this city sooner or later.
Yeah, of course. Some people would say that.
Well, if anyone should, it should be you.
I don't want to run this. I don't want to run this city.
You sell yourself too short. You always do. She just pokes your nose in a very sort of polite, sort of very happy way. You can be so much more.
I'm gonna give you a small task right now. Are you up for it? I need you to do this for me.
Oh, anything, just ask.
He takes up his phone, hands it to her. Call your father.
Whoa. You mentioned that, and she's just going. He's not my father. Not anymore.
He loves and cares for you as much as I do. You might not feel the same way, but he is still your father. Call him and tell him that you're okay, and you're going to visit him Sunday for roast.
He just wants to control me. He just wants to control my life. He just wants to tell me what to do.
You're sounding very much like Cassandra right now.
Right, yeah. She pauses as you say that, and actually she's quite insulted. Like, oh, I've done everything you said. I've behaved as good as possible. And look what she's done. and you took her in. You made her your child, not me, but you made her.
When all this blows over, might even be closer than that, you will feel the same. Feel the same embrace.
You promise?
I promise.
Fine. And she kind of, she walks off or grabs a phone if you offer a phone, like phone.
Yeah.
She'll grab it and walk away to the other side of the balcony or towards inside the room. Actually, she walks past one of the party goers who's wearing this bunny costume.
Yeah.
And pushes him and pushes him into the pond. Yeah, of course. And pushes him into the pool. And he's like, "Hey, bitch!" Yeah, and he's sort of trying to swim. Swim his way back. She's upset. Of course, she would never show that to you. She'd never tell you that because she's a good girl. Good girls don't tell fathers how upset they are with them. So, and you're left there for a few moments with your thoughts. And yes, looking at your apartment, your penthouse. It's fucked. It's so fucked. There's some serious repair work that needs to be done. Some windows have been cracked. There's vomit everywhere. There's drugs everywhere. There's passed out people. And even you in your younger days would not be this excessive.
No, of course not. James was a good man, and
this may bring back some harsh memories of your late sire, or your sire in her later days, as she would do such things, throw such parties.
Nah, he's looking at the mess. He's not angry. I mean, he can't be angry. It's just like it's a rebellion. It's rebellion against the man, against him for not being there, for not like taking care of anyone. He feels a little bit guilty, not as in a human way, but as in pride and Invictus way, and the third commandment, the third law of the vampire society as a whole, that you need to take care of your childer and you need to teach them the way, and that he has failed at some point, so he's not feeling guilt over him being a bad parent per se, but him being a bad citizen within the city.
As these thoughts dwell over you, and as you look over the pool, the raining to this grand sight before you, and there's actually, you know what? There is a kind of a sound of thunder in the distance, a like crackle, a brief light. A storm is coming. A storm is starting to brew in the distance. It's still quite clear where you are, but you just hear that the rumbling of thunder. And as you hear that, of course, behind you, you sense your child. You sense your newly embraced individual, kindred, blood. And she leans against the door that welcomes you onto the balcony, welcomes you onto the pool area, and she's wearing a very sort of refined, sort of black gown that looks very expensive, but has been somewhat torn, somewhat used or worn, and she's put this back on, and she's not even put it on that properly. Doesn't seem to care. And she looks to you and is leaning against the door, going, "So you've been busy these past nights?"
He sighs and turns around to her and goes up and gives her a hug and a peck on the cheek. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault.
She's, like welcomes the hug, but at the same time just holds back. But then she kind of just moans or whispers and just goes, "You didn't have to kill him."
I was angry. I'm sorry about that.
You can snap my neck as many times as you want. Remember, these mortals are fragile. Ghouls are fragile. Always remember that.
No, it's like this. I wouldn't try to kill you in any part of the way. I might smack you around if I get really angry, but I know I would never do that.
You will. You forget I was a ghoul for quite a few years. I know how it works. The beast acts up in all of us. It's part of the job.
It is. It is. Just come here. And he goes to the pool and like the edge of the pool and points to the man in the bunny costume. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, he's doing backstrokes right now. He's actually gone, I'm wet now. I'm gonna do backstrokes. And she's looking at him going, I haven't got a clue. Yeah, I think it was one of Simon's friends.
Who the fuck is Simon?
He was the boy you just broke.
I know that, of course, but who is he?
The youngest member of a certain family. If I mentioned their name, I'm sure you and your Vector's friends would know. Rich,
yeah.
Powerful, the usual.
Of course.
But he was different. Didn't want any of that. Wanted to invest in his art and his music. I just wanted one taste of that. One night of freedom. That's all.
It's okay. Cassandra, it's okay. Within our blood, there are things that crave that kind of thing, and I should be telling you that so much earlier than I have. But next time you want to do something like that, contact me, give me a call so I know what you're doing, and go out. Don't do it here. This here is my domain, and I want you to respect that.
Well, give me my own domain. Let me go. Let me find somewhere.
I can't do that right now. You're way too young still. And being a ghoul doesn't mean you have been a vampire for too long.
She actually like closes her eyes and pauses for a moment and kind of leans into her hands that she has resting on the railing. Goes, how do you deal with it? It's always there. It's always just on the surface, trying to come out.
It takes practice, a lot of hard work, and I find motivation in what I do. People call it touchstones. When you cling on to something that makes you human.
I've forgotten what it's like to be me for so long. All I knew was the visions.
What did you do besides
prophecies.
Visions?
I used to sing.
All right. What did you sing?
Oh, it's been so long. I've forgotten my family. They wanted me to sing, and then it's as if she's about to remember something joyful, something quite happy. And there's a moment when she's about to smile, but then she recalls and goes, "Oh no, that's when I first met Karen."
Yeah. All right. So what I want you to do as a small lesson from me to you is go out and sing whatever is gospel, jazz, or that rock and roll, and he does like a small air guitar thing.
Oh, brilliant!
Looks really fucking
awkward. Like, yeah, that rock and roll.
And it
Um,
looks so fucking silly. It's disgusting.
yeah, she just smiles again, shakes her head like, oh, God, you're so old.
I'm so.
Um, but she pauses and goes, look, I must admit, I didn't realize how difficult it was to be like this. As a girl, you see just one perspective, but feeling it, the blood, the taste, the pleasure, it says everything else is dimmed, and that is the only thing in focus. Um, I'm amazed that you can keep hold of yourself for this long.
Oh, well, Cassandra, it's a slippery slope, and recently I've done some things that I will spend many years pondering and um, paying retribution for what I've done recent nights.
She looks at you more seriously as you say this, and starts to walk up to you. Then you can hear the sort of clanking of her high heels on the the marble floor as she walks towards you. The outsole, oh no, wood. Let's say wood because it's outdoors. So the hard wood. And as she sort of walks towards you, she sort of caresses your face and then looks to you quite deeply, going, "You have to let her go. Can't keep her.
Let who go?
She's too young, and I know what it's like to be a girl. You'll
Oh, yes,
break her, and she will never recover."
he shrugs. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
As a girl, I can only tell you that it's the hardest thing to break with your master, with your donor, but I would have been far happier if Karen did that to me. But such is not in the fates.
If I let her go, she will die.
And she gives you a light kiss on the cheek and smiles to you and goes, and that would be a mercy.
And besides, I can't let her die. She's one of the nine.
Now, at that point, she's about to turn, but then pauses as you say that, and no role needed. You know her too well. It's too intimate in the moment. She definitely reacts as you say that, and simply goes, just let her go. Don't let her stay here. Just let her flee. Don't let her stay. She can't stay, and she's kind of sort of shaking almost, and her head's somewhat twitching, and she's definitely having some kind of it's quite bizarre. She's having some kind of panic attack almost.
So, well then, Cassandra, that will be your task for now. You're going to write me or tell me in person in, let's say, 7 days why she should why I should let her go.
Um,
And if you convince me, I'll let her go.
oh God! Oh, I thought I was done with this. I thought the visions had stopped. I thought I could finally be free of what Karen did. I thought I could be finally free. Just just walk away. Just let her go. Let the city deal with her. Don't place this curse, this blackness on your doorstep. Please, I'm telling you as your child, for the sake as a sibling, as we both had the same true mother. Just let her go.
You have 1 week. I'm sorry.
She just like pushes you and stomps away and said, I thought you'd be different. I thought you'd be different from Karen, but you're just like her, and you'll end up just like her.
What? Serving the fucking blood thief is dead.
No. Corrupt, vile, and broken.
We're all corrupt and fucking broken. Get over yourself.
Yeah, but we can accept that. You can't. You'll break.
I'll need you to stay here.
Fine. And she kind of like waves her hand as she turns and then walks back into the apartment. And she actually like grabs one of the like drunk or passed out individuals. And yes, she grabs him quite easily. Do the kindred strength and abilities. She grabs him and lifts him up and sort of slowly drags him up towards her room or where the guest residence is. And it looks like she's looking for a late night feed, as it were, something to give her some pleasure.
Don't stain the fucking carpet.
I won't, Daddy. I won't. She kind of dragging this individual up the stairs. He's so passed out, his head's banging on the steps as she's dragging him along. And the guy in the bunny. Funny enough, the guy in the bunny rabbit suit who's swimming in the pond. He's doing his backstrokes, and he passes you and just goes, "Hey, dude, awesome fucking party. Your daughter, man, and you." 10 out of 10, and he keeps just doing his backstrokes in the pool.
He mentions him to like come a little bit closer.
I know, man, not in the middle. And he sort of like carries on going and going. And I think at this point, there will be another knock. The doorbell will ring. You forgot. Yeah, he was coming around. Oh, you've been so busy. This is why you came back, actually, because you thought you'd do this, but you was late because of the other business meeting that you had to attend. Oh, fuck. Now you remember that Arthur was meant to be coming around at some point tonight, but he is, of course, early.
He just goes to the door, opens the door. Hello, Archie. How you doing?
Oh, fuck's sake. If you say Archie, that really winds him up. But he's standing there. And of course, he's always dimly lit. The shadows seem to just amass around him more heavily. He's always as if a few shades darker than the room is. And of course, he's standing there with these three huge kind of bouncer retainer types, obviously all on guard, all on expecting something. And of course, he has one little colleague next to him who seems to have some paperwork, a laptop, a phone, and she seems to be communicating something, a business aspect. And as you say that to him, oh dear Archie, he goes, there's a twinge in his eye as you say that, and there's a slight light moan, but he just pauses and retracts it. He's very well trained. He's very well trained. And just goes, oh my dear half brother, I hope I've not arrived too early. I assumed you'd be ready for me.
He shakes his head and extends a hand to him and says, no, I'm sorry, Arthur. You're very welcome in. Please come in. Cassandra was throwing...
Sorry.
Cassandra was throwing some get-together, which I just ended.
Yes, I could. I witnessed a quite interesting group of individuals in the lobby. They seem to be very impressed by your child's hospitality. To be young.
You know how it is for us, Deva. When we're young, it's not like the people of your blood. We are hot and impulsive and we can't control it. I am so sorry about that.
Oh no, it is an aspect I respect greatly. To just to shed one's responsibilities, to enjoy life, to Wiccan oneself. Such a wondrous, such a primitive thing to do. And with that, he kind of walks in and kind of barges. And he doesn't shake your hand.
No,
And he
of
kind
course not.
He walks past you, and he simply says, "Oh, I will carry on. We will talk more privately. I hope you don't mind if my two retainers stay inside. They will secure the door."
Of course. No, it's okay. Yes, about the primitive thing, yes, I do agree. That is why so many of my kind hold to the wicked coffins. But some are better than most.
Ah, I cannot speak falsehoods, for many of even my blood have fallen to the pathetic aspirations of the Carthians. The idea of one youth is a voice that should be just as affordable or as welcomed as an aged and more wiser voice. Some of my clan have fallen to such petty sickness, such weak-willed ideology. But you are a man in high regard, and I understand that many in the. He kind of, as he walks around the room, he kind of pokes with his. He's got a small little cane. He never uses the walkway. He just has his cane. He kind of pokes some of the inebriated, the drunk individuals around you. That some of the, and then he replies, "Oh, yes, some of the young kindred have to imbibe themselves, base themselves in such foul acts, and get it out of their system. Please, no apologies are needed."
Out of character right now, would I know about the caretaker program that is going on within the Invictus?
You know, it's separate cells with separate cells, but yes, you know that these bodies are going somewhere, but you're not sure where.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah. I have some cleaning up to do afterwards. My humor got the best of me, but otherwise everything is okay.
I do not threaten or warn, but to give sage advice that all of us of the blood must be cautious when dealing with mortals. Feeding seems somewhat mundane and okay, but giving of blood to another in the city has become somewhat dangerous. The detail I wish to talk to you on a bit further tonight.
All right. Let's give it a few good minutes so we can clear this place out. Especially the man in the bunny's costume in our pool seems like a big fuck you to us.
he kind of does a light chirper, like a schoolboy kind of like chirper. Of course, of course. I am happy to wait as you cleanse your haven. I will presume to be somewhere more private. And he kind of looks around, analysing everything. He finds a little room or couch or bar area where he just...
When he begins to look around, he will point. James will point to a room which is basically his study. And
yeah.
he'll say, "You're welcome to take the seat behind the desk, and we'll talk accordingly when this place is cleaned up."
He just nods and goes, "Of course, of course." And he gestures for his two retainers, his two protection bouncers, to follow suit, and they all go towards the. There is a third one, but he's outside the door.
Yeah.
So the two of them go follow him towards the study. And they will proceed into this.
Upon which James begins to try to wake people up gently. If they don't wake up, he's just gonna pick them up and just drop them outside the door.
Yeah, you contact the staff. You say the party's over, and the building itself has staff members that come in and help you out. Sort of. Not the first time they've seen a wild party like this at some of the penthouses in winter. So gradually, people get escorted out, brought out, chucked out, even.
Yeah. He's
The only
just
one that seems somewhat sober or still capable is the guy in the bunny costume who walks past you completely drenched and he just gives you like a thumbs up going, dude, awesome party. Yeah,
uh,
you're the man, as he sort of proceeds to kind of
when he exits, James has of course seen this on TV and heard about it on the radio and stuff like that. So he fist bumps the guy.
And as you do, even the other guy looks at you as you're doing it very awkwardly in a sort of like with a fist bump you. And he just looks at you as if like it's some sort of true, cool, trendy thing to do. And the bunny guy just fist bumps you and goes, ah, dude, awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
And he
does a face palm as he's leaving.
And the bunny guy just skips and does this light skip and hums this merry tune as he walks out and waves and seems to just leave and exit the door.
He's checking up on Cassandra, seeing that she's not killing the guy by feeding on him.
Oh no, I say strange. She's just sleeping with him. It seems like he's woken up. They're having intercourse, but she's slowly devouring him, but not killing him. But it's a very slow. You've done this before, where you've hunted and you kind of you bite a little bit, you feed a little bit, you carry on. You a bit more intimate, more physical.
A very Deva thing.
It's such a Deva thing, and the person, of course, is they're not suffering; they're enjoying it. It's the best to a certain extent.
He says to her, he basically opens the door a little bit and says, "We have a meeting. Get ready for a meeting. Arthur is here. Don't kill him."
She kind of just hisses at you like a creature that's been interrupted in its frenzy. It's feeding and hisses, and you feel that presence, that beast sort of emanating from her. But it's a more of a friendly warning than anything. But you, of course, you just it's like a rowdy teenager with the music on loud, and you just sort of. She's accepted. She acknowledges you,
and he, of course, checks in on Beth as well and says basically like, "A meeting in a few minutes. I would like you to be there as well."
Beth is still on the phone, and she's talking, going, "Yes, of course I'll be there. No, everything's fine. Nothing's happening. Yeah, it's all good." But then she pauses and hears what you say and acknowledges it and goes, "Yeah, I'll be a few minutes, but yeah, I'll be there."
And he nods. And when everything is nice and dandy, he walks into the room with to Arthur.
Arthur is currently in the room. He's looking at the bookshelf. He's looking at. Does your PC have any books? Would he have any books there? Or would he
fuck yes! James is a big book reader.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to name a few ideas or concepts or
a lot of like college literature and stuff about a lot of like semi like social books about like spotting lies, crime scenes, investigation.
Okay, criminology.
Yeah.
Criminology, forensic science, the study of the psycho mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. He's looking over your books, and the two sort of retainers or bouncers that he has with him. As soon as you enter the room, he kind of smiles and gestures for them to leave.
And of course, on the desk is also, of course, The Art of War.
Cool. Oh, any Invictus member would have that, along with Machiavelli and
Machiavelli the Prince.
Yes, they all. That's like standard reading for any Invictus member. Anyway, and of course he looks and looks. I must admire your library. Of course, you have the classics. He points towards the basic Art of War, Machiavelli, those sort of books. Then it looks at the criminology books. And I understand now our dear mother's interest in you. focus, your mindset, even after all these years, is still apparent in your psychology. The solving of a puzzle, solving of a crime, the investigating of something wrong in the universe. I can appreciate and understand this.
Of course. I respect your field very much as well.
Uh,
It's such a weird thing for me going through big ballrooms and everything like that, looking at the looking at everything as a puzzle through social interactions.
Oh, we all have our part to play, and I must confess, even the ballroom's high life, the brown nosing of our high society does wear heavy on me sometimes. We all have our parts to play for the benefit of the kindred community.
You
And
should come out on a hunt sometime, Arthur.
oh, that is not my area of expertise. I find myself more beneficial to our kindred community in the boardroom, in the office. Such
Oh,
activities you do so well, far greater than one such as myself.
he takes a seat at the chair at the visitor side of the table, mentioning
Okay.
for Arthur to sit in the big chair.
oh, oh God, yeah, he goes for that. Yeah, he just sits there. That's as if a welcome gesture, a humble sort of sense of respect. And as he sits, and of course the office chair is always higher than the guest
Mm.
chair. And he sits there and just simply goes, "Oh, you have such a fine, fine office. I hope our investment in your penthouse is acceptable for one as high standing as yourself."
Yeah, I'm usually I'm usually for more simple thing. I would say I'm more Spartan than anything else. I like simple. All manner of these things are too much. But on the thing about hunts, I
Mm.
once during the 1980s in New York when I was doing my work as a hound, as an archon of the Invictus, I met this gangrel who was a vile diablerist. He had gotten the taste for vampiric blood, but he said something to me that rings true in a way that we lose ourselves and our connection to the beast by not killing and not hunting and not doing these primal things the beast needs. And and that rings with me still to this day, that even the most simple si- simple and even the most complicated high standing figures of our society needs to do that sometime. To He said it as connecting to the primal beast and finding yourself once anew.
How fascinating! Yes, that is a very interesting perspective. I can see the Gangle clan claiming such things with the hunt, the aspect of savaging one's foe, dominating, controlling, killing, barbaric. And I can argue and enlighten to the point of where my clan humbly not above such things, but we view things different. We see the hunt different.
Of course,
Conquering of a corporation, the controlling of a country is the equivalent of one of your meager hunts per se. Perhaps less pure, but noble in its own way.
no,
Somewhat more enlightened, at least.
no, of course not. Uh, the only thing I would, as someone who's not of your standing, of course, and I presumably don't hunt in the same way you do, but I don't know if you ever done it. But just go away from the herds, from the domain, from the hunting grounds, and just try your wit and social skills to capture someone, to lure someone to your haven, to feed on them, without using disciplines, without using any powers that come from the nature that we have.
This sounds like a healthy challenge. Perhaps we shall make a bet before we discuss serious issues whether one of us can persuade and feed off an individual without using their powers.
I would like to do that sometime, but of course we have many other pressing matters.
Of course, of course. A healthy challenge and debate is always necessary in the Invictus, but two serious matters. And he stands up for this. And of course, looks down to you, as he always does whenever he gets the chance. As I've mentioned earlier, that certain feasting, ghouling, the shedding of blood to another has become somewhat more cautious and warrant these past few nights. The Invictus, we have, well, always been in London very secretly, very subtly. And after we've invested ourselves a bit more because of the increased kindred presence in recent months, due to your and your other Crimson Council agents' success here in London, many other kindred have come, have established havens, feeding grounds. And of course, the risk of the masquerade, the breaches, the frenzies, the despicable revenants that may be caused. And as you are well aware of the Bath Hospital, the morgue incident when the revenant outbreak occurred, these revenants are different to the usual that emerge. Very rarely, due to kindred of high standing, high blood, tend to create. These revenants are not only cursed individuals from our blood, our feeding, they seem able to infect others, causing a disease of revenants, creatures that breach the masquerade in such a horrendous way that I'm sure that you and I both have understanding. We thought this was only a freak occurrence and experimented with the morgue. We left one of these individuals there, and they seem to be able to reproduce themselves, inbreed themselves amongst other corpses, and spread themselves further. And it seemed the activity of other kindred only enticed them, enhanced them, seemed to activate them more. Which, of course, gives us even more issues of how to deal with them, as kindred presence seems to only agitate them, create them more. We have established certain dealings with outside kindred in the processing of eliminating these revenants that have started to sprout and spread across the London community, but we have not found a solution to the problem. Now, this is where I wish to ask of your humble service, your humble expertise as an ancilla and an older member of the Invictus.
Of course, whatever you need.
I have gained some information from my various contacts with other Invictus members that there have been reports before the fall of London, during the heresy that was the Carthian movement in the day, that they delved into black magic, dark magic, blood magic. The informant we had in their group could not give us details, but informed us some form of ritual was performed that involved revenants, that involved the creation of revenants. I must admit this information is widely spread amongst the Invictus, but was held from you.
It's nothing new to me, actually.
Oh, I am come to the understanding that this magic, this blood ritual with the despicable creature known as the Blood Thief involved your, simply put, former sire. I do not wish to cause offence or
No
rudeness.
worries. I cut my ties with her long ago.
Of course. We all know your loyalty to the Silent Mother, the acts that you have done, the the masquerade breach in New York during your reign as sheriff. I must admit, I congratulate you, and I can understand why our dear mother made you her voice. Such a noble act to contain masquerade breaches must be respected and rewarded.
As it is, as what I know, my mother was a bit of an outsider. She used to work for the Invictus within the Americas. She was her after the war and everything like that, the Second World War, that is. Um, she was corrupted by her sister. She was always a little bit of a crone inside, but she never put it out on display. But she went towards the crone. That was when I said enough is enough, and I saw my potential within the Invictus. But she went on, made her thing, and then she, of course, defected to the Anarchs. No, I mean Anarchs, of course not.
Oh, sorry, Carthians. Yeah, same thing.
Coffins, and of course the Blood Thief.
Oh, I did not wish to presume such knowledge or actions upon you, but I am happy that you have come to these conclusions, and it reassures me that you understand the circumstances of your sire, how she is quite vilified and hated amongst the Invictus. Traitors always are, and she was such a traitor.
Can I recommend a course of action?
I am always in humble acknowledgement of an older kindred and their advice.
Within these borders of London, we have, of course, our dear sister, who is a high-ranking member of the Order Dracul. Me and her are on good foot with each other.
Mhm.
What are the scholars within the Invictus might not be able to find out, she might be able. If if you have, or if you grant me the opportunity and the permission to uh, have and or capture one of these revenants alive and bring it to her, she might find some remedy to our problems.
Most interesting, most interesting. Uh, I do not wish to seek outside help with this matter, as Masquerade and the Invictus are very connected. To involve your sister, my dear sister, many consider her somewhat an outsider, a
Oh,
rogue element, as you were. She has no allegiance to us, but
she has allegiance to me.
then I shall take its faith upon you, and I shall hold responsibility of this task upon you and her. But if you feel able to research this, if you feel able to give us answers, I am willing to accept any help if it solves this revenant issue. These despicable creatures cannot be allowed to roam, half kindred as they are.
And of course, if nothing else is fruitful there, I do have my real blood cousin within the city as well, who is a member of the circle.
Ah, yes, they have been in heavily more involved now in London. I believe they've held themselves up in a abandoned church within London's grounds, and I heard they have made much progress in the corruption of the Enlightened's abilities. Such, of course, is rumor, hearsay. But to allow them to be upon our side to gain their trust would be very encouraging.
What I'm thinking is, if that is the case, what if I go to them and help them out with a few problems, and we help them out with a few problems, and we start some sort of connection? Because with the revival of the reformed gallows party or whatever they're called,
Oh, yes, yes.
about that later. But we can't let the Kaffians gain more ground. Gaining allies on all sides of the spectrum right now is good for us. We cannot have a stable city without the support of at least three covenants.
We Invictus, of course, always know when to use and asset allies, and you are correct. We cannot allow these crones to become associated with Carthage and their rabble, and at least allow the other groups to form ideas and opinions. We must enforce the fact that the Invictus are, of course, running things as usual.
My idea of a course of action right now is, first of all, get the Order Dracul back in order, with one of the oldest members of the city being of our bloodline,
Hmm.
and also a Order Dracul. We can get her into good position.
I must inform you, I cannot divulge. He's going to say something. We're going to have to do a roll here because it's about whether he would say it or not say it, and this is based on your presence and socialize and how well you come across, how well you are, because you are rivals. He's not going to give you every detail, every bit of information unless you come across very well. So we'll say a presence plus socialize, but minusing 3, which is his result. And let's just see what reaction, what successes you gain.
Ah, shit! I think that's a chance die.
Oh, really? So yeah, it's your composure plus socialize, minusing 3.
Composure.
Yeah,
Present.
composure. Oh, sorry. No. Presence. Sorry, yeah, I correct myself.
Yeah.
Presence plus
Uh,
socialize. It's about how well you
it would
come
be
across.
somewhat more if I had Majesty on, but no, I'm not doing that
You
shit.
could activate that, but that's a whole
No.
headache of stuff that you can do right there.
Um. Yeah. Nope. It's a 7, so it's
Okay, it's not a failure, but you're not. It's because of the party,
yeah,
because of the kind of. This is not how one greets another
yeah,
in
yeah.
high standing, and he kind of. It's as if he's about to divulge something, but then goes. But yes, you are correct. We should investigate these individuals and entice other allies. And this I can agree humbly. And
Of course, we do it the
in regards to
Invictus
the
way.
Ordo Draco, I would say we can only allow tasks for one group at a time. I would task you with involving your Banshee allies. You seem to have great standing with them, or fear at least. Perhaps if you took charge of enticing them more into the Invictus way, and perhaps move on to the Chrome. Leave the Ordo to me, and leave the other groups to me.
I do have a course of action against the coffins, though.
I feel it best that we apply the casual Invictus rulings that we keep our plans separate, lest they get discovered or divulged. But I'm happy to know that you have your plans against the Carthians. Do you wish something of me, assistance in some way? I can understand such an old kindred as yourself not being so aware of modern times, modern technology, as these Carthians tend to dwell in.
He opens the art of war. He stands up and opens the art of war to a direct page, and fucking blimey, I guess he has this thing memorized by now.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sun Tzu said once that you should attack people when they're traveling. Make make them travel somewhere and attack with archers from the sides while you fight the two front side on the other place.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking simply, without divulging anything more, the utter and complete humiliation of this reformed gallows party.
Ah, such a wondrous idea, such a complete and mutual understanding, I think. Yes, I agree.
With them within the city, we cannot allow them to gain any headway, and we need to stomp them out like a bug while they're still forming up their lines.
Ah, the Invictus were in charge of London for centuries until the Carthians come along. Did such a horrendous act with the Blood Thief that occurred these nights of storms, hunters and enlightened, and merely more proof of the Invictus's role in kindred life. And I'm sure we can, despite our rivalries, can both agree on the Invictus's purpose in the world.
Yes.
I feel that this was a very good meeting, a very good and open meeting, and we have accomplished much. I look forward to speaking further. And he actually opens his hand. He gestures for his hand to shake. For the first time you've met him or known him, he's actually sort
Yeah.
of
And of course, he takes it like firmly, but not to like crushing his hand or anything like that.
Yeah,
A firm handshake, and as looking like directly in his eyes as a form of trust for anyone who is a venturer. He shakes his hand and says, "I like, I like this partnership we're building, Arthur. We can build a great city together."
I'm so looking forward to it. And as he's shaking his hand is so soft. Oh, it's so soft and sort of lavender and light. Oh, you definitely know this hand has never felt the harshness of a day's work. Very well kept, very well looked after. And of course, this is before he was embraced. This is his hand. And he smiles and nods. And he goes, "Well, I shall leave you to your residence. Please give my regards to your children. I'm sure they are quite busy."
One more thing before you leave, Arthur.
Oh, yes, of course.
I've been meaning to give this to you for a while. And he goes like to a small display case or something like that and takes out a trench knife and he hands it to him.
He looks to it a bit confused, and then just as you present it to him, he kind of holds it in a bit. It's a bit rusty, a bit old. He's kind of holding it very sort of like, okay, this is interesting.
This here is a German trench knife from a stormtrooper.
Oh, a grand gift from an ancilla such as yourself. I did not realize you participated in such events of our history.
I was turning 20 in a few months when I had my first kill on the plains of France. This was the one of 5 things I brought back with me to America. It represents to me vigil, and the possibility to destroy any enemy that faces you, even if they seem strong. As these people were feared, they ran across the trenches and dove into ours, killing many people. This one here killed 7 of my brethren before he attacked me, and I got a lucky shot in.
A heavy, burdensome story. I appreciate you telling me this, Ansel. I will take its words on.
And with that comes, of course, fool's wisdom and old wisdom. But when you're in the trenches fighting a war like this one, never give up, even if people fall before you, because only one man can stand victor against overwhelming odds. We are these people, Arthur.
He comes across quite humbled, comes across quite noble, and he knows respect. Though your rivalry, though your issues, he knows how to respect what the words of an Ancilla and one above him, his station. And he doesn't say any words, he just nods. As a neonate, I humbly accept your words of wisdom, and I shall keep them upon me for eternity.
Thank you, brother.
And he places like a cloth or tissue over the bayonet, and he actually places it in his own pocket, and sort of pads it in his pocket as if, like, yes, I will take this dearly to me. I thank you of your kind words, and I thank you for your invitation into your haven, and I will leave you to your duties, as I feel that you and your daughter and other siblings have much to discuss. Please let me respond. Let me retaliate. Let me allow you an invitation to a gala that I am hosting. The Belton Towers, just north of Canary Wharf. We are hosting a grand venue with many of the high society of London, many individuals that you can influence and partake upon and listen to gather further information and knowledge, plus some other kindred of the Invictus and our allies that I'm sure that if we all met could come to quite an understanding of how to run the city for the benefit of all, of course.
He nods and says, "Of course, I humbly accept your invitation, and I will be there."
Oh, so good. And with this, he just does a slight bow and gestures for his 2 retainers to follow. And he will proceed to lead out, towards outside. And let's say your Cassandra will, because of his kindred abilities, he can sense Cassandra. He knows what Cassandra is, and he knows the individual Cassandra is with and what they're doing, and just gives a sort of smile or a gesture, like a nod, to be young, and then proceeds out, and he will leave the scene. And
just before,
Yep.
James follows him to the door and says, just before he leaves,
Yep.
And of course, Arthur, if you ever need me, my haven is always welcome and open. So, brother.
Of course, your haven seems open to many.
It does, especially when Cassandra roams these halls.
Especially with your younger. Here.
Yes.
He just nods and walks off. I think we have to go back to him for the end scene, but we'll zoom in on that later. But we'll go to you and Cassandra. I think we'll start ending the scene now. So Cassandra is still upstairs. She's kind of fed. She's full. She's partied out. Your ghoul comes towards you and just simply says, looks to you and goes like, "Oh, she's still upstairs with that guy. Look, I spoke to my father. I'm meeting him on Sunday. I hope you're happy." But he's angry.
I know he wants to talk to me about many things, But for now, and he goes in and kisses her on the forehead and says, "You've done a great job."
If it comes to him or you, I choose you. You know that.
I do know that, but words of wisdom from a man who has seen many things. I might mean a lot, but after many years, you will dread the day when you look in the mirror and know that you didn't know your father as well as you should have done when he's dead for 15, let's say it as it is, 80 years.
Fine. And she looks onwards and she begins to tidy up. It's one of her roles here. She's just someone that's here. She feels obliged to tidy up. She starts clearing and sorting things out and getting things organized and back together.
Also, I have a job for you and Cassandra.
She's just behind like the kitchen or the hob or bar area. And
Yeah.
she just again attention to anything you say. Oh, of course. What my master, my father? What?
It's very dangerous. That's why I'm sending Cassandra with you. But I want you to scope out some locations for me. Just tell me how many kindred there are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's nodding and going, yes, because of her abilities. She knows, oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can sense them. I know where they are, that sort of thing.
Yeah. But for now, I'll help you clean. And he begins to, pick up beer bottles and empty cans crushed on the feet, dancing feet or whatever. Clearing like cocaine from the fucking table.
Yeah, okay, there's still actually, you know what? There's even like there's someone that's OD'd in the bathroom that you've just found. But of course you know better than most where to put such a body or how to get rid of such a body. You have contact.
I call the cleaners for the cleaners for a dinner party for, let's say, like 3 people.
I shall fetch a rug. It's that kind of thing. They this has happened before, of course, and you have a select. It's on speed dial. The cleaners that come and collect this individual. This happens, and Cassandra will simply say, I'll describe something that happens off scene with Cassandra, but she's still upstairs feeding on this individual quite happily, and we'll end the scene with Arthur, who has just left. He's kind of gone down the elevator with his 2 ghouls, his 2 henchmen, 2 individuals, and he's got the blade, the bayonet, and he's holding it quite closely, examining it, and he's taking upon and he walks out of the elevator, goes through the lobby, and he's examining this old blade, this sort of precious item. And as he kind of proceeds towards outside into the London streets where there's traffic, people going by, and as he sort of looks humbly at this blade, going, such a precious item. These ancilla, they become so tied to such old things. With that, he proceeds to throw it in a bin just beside him and gets a cloth and wipes his hand clean of it, and then hails down his cab, his limousine, and proceeds to enter. And then we shall leave and humbly end scene. We thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show.